तुम लोग इस साइड आ जाओ। पेम्बल डन है ना? So today we will be studying Union and its territory, new chapter, that is Union and its territory. Union and its territory. See, sometimes they will directly ask you a question in which part there is provision for Union and its territory. So this is part 1. So in part 1 of the Constitution of India there is a provision for Union and its territory. Also sometimes they also ask about the articles, which articles cover the provision of Union and its territory. So that is from article 1 to 4. So you can also write down it. Part 1 is about Union and its territory, and article 1 and 4 cover provisions related to Union and its territory. So we will be studying in detail from article 1 to 4. What are there in article 1, 2, 3 and 4. So first we will be covering article 1. Article 1. So article 1 basically talks about two things. First one is what is the name, and second is territory. So name will be India or Bharat. India or Bharat. That shall be the Union of India. And in territory there will be three things. First one is territory of the states. Second one is union territories. And third one is territories which may be acquired in future. Clear? So simultaneously draw these diagrams for the short notes. You will get a booklet regarding it tomorrow. And I will dictate few important points also. So name and territory. So name means India, that is Bharat, and that shall be Union of States. Acquired territory, that may be acquired in future. Clear? Now come to the second concept, and that is why India is a union and not a federation despite having all the federal provisions. Why? Despite having all the provisions of a federal constitution, why India is called as Union of States? So this has been explained by Bhimrao Ambedkar in Constituent Assembly debates. Why phrase union is used in place of federation? And he gave two important reasons. First one is Indian federation is not an agreement, between the states like USA. not an agreement between the states like USA. Clear? In USA, all the states have signed an agreement to form a federation, but that is not true in case of India. Clear? And second reason he gave is that states have no right to cede, no right to cede from the federation. Unlike USA, in USA, any state can cede from the Federation of United States. But in India, no state have right to cede from the Federation of India. Clear? So these 2 points has been explained by Bhimrao Ambedkar, that why India is called as union and not a federation, despite having all the features of federation in India. I have told while I was teaching about the salient feature of the constitution, that Indian constitution is a combination of both unitary features as well as federal features. So despite having federal features like like bicameralism, independent judiciary, written constitution, division of powers between state and center, still India is not called as federation, and the term federation has not been used anywhere in the constitution. I have told all these things in the class. So these are the two reasons. That's why India is called as union and not as a federation. Now another point which they usually ask in the interview also, what is the difference between the Union of State and Territory of India? What is the difference between Union of States and Territory of India? Clear? So the difference is that Union of State means only the territories of the states. Union of State covers only states. Clear? While Territory of India covered states, Union Territory as well as the territories which may be acquired in the future. You can see this diagram. Union of States means only states. See in the diagram. Union of States means only state. And when we talk about Territory of India, it is Union of States, Union Territory of India, and as well as the territory which may be acquired in the future. So all these three things are covered under Territory of India. Is that clear? Now come to the next point. Article 1 is cleared. I am now going to Article 2. Article 2. See, Article 2 talks about mainly two things. First one is admission of states, and second one is establishment of state. First one is admission of the state in Union of India, and second one is establishment of states in the Union of India. Clear? So basically means Article 2 grants two power to the Parliament. First power is admission of any states into India, and second power is establishment of any state in the Union of India. And Article 2 concerned only those parts or those states which are not already the part of India. It is not concerned with those parts which are already part of India. That is the difference between Article 2 and when I will teach about Article 3. The provisions in the Article 2 deals with those parts who are not already part of India. Yes. Clear? Is that clear to all? Means any new state can be admitted into Union of India or a new state may be established by the parliament. And while we are talking about Article 2, it means only those states or those parts which are not already part of India. Clear? Now come to Article 3. Article 3. See, Article 3 mainly talks about 5 things. I am going to explain it and simultaneously draw this diagram. These diagrams will be very helpful for you for the quick revisions. When you will be writing answer for the mains or when you will be going to appear in prelims. Okay. Article 3 talks about the formation of new state. Formation of new states. And how these states may be formed? Yes, by altering the boundaries of the current states. Means either merging the territory of two states or taking part of a state and forming a new state. Clear? Or taking more than two states and form a new state. Means Article 3 concerned with those parts of the states who are already part of the India. For example, Uttarakhand has been created by taking a part of UP. Jharkhand created by taking part of Bihar. Telangana created by taking part of Andhra Pradesh. So all these states were already part of India, no? And in Article 2, those states were not part of India. Okay. Now come to the second point, that is Article 3 grants the power to the Parliament to increase the boundary of any state. Clear? Also it gives power to diminish the boundary. Diminish means decrease. Diminish the boundary of any state. As well as alter the boundaries of any state. Alter the boundaries of any state. And at the same time alter the name of any state. Not only boundary but also name. See, earlier name of Uttarakhand was Uttaranchal, but they have changed it to Uttarakhand. So this can be done by using Article 3. Is that clear? I am going to explain that. These things are clear, no? Now the question is whether for doing all these things consent of state is required or not. Consent of state is required or not. So there is a provision. I am going to explain that provision. Listen it very carefully. For above changes, means above changes, these 5 changes which I was talking about. Clear? These changes can be done by introducing bill in the parliament and only with the prior recommendation of the president. For introducing bill, prior recommendation of president is required. Clear? And before giving the approval to the parliament to introduce this bill, president is required to send this bill to the state to get the views of state regarding these changes within a specified time period. But the views of state is not binding on the president. It is not binding on the president. Either president may accept or reject. Clear? So what does it means? It means that there is a provision to inform the state but not to take the consent of state. So parliament can change all these things by informing the state. The consent of state is not required. There is a difference between the informing and taking consent. No? Here only there is parliament is informing the states, not taking the consent, because their views are not taken into consideration or may be taken into consideration. There is no foundation. Clear? And every time when there will be amendment in those bills, the president is not required to send it for the taking views of the concerned state legislature. That means if any amendment is going to happen in that bill, the consent of state, the requirement to send the bill again to the state is not required. It is required only for the first time when the bill is about to introduce in the parliament. Is that clear? And that prior that view of taking view of the state is not required in case of union territory. This taking view is required only in case of states. In case of union territory, parliament can take decision without informing the state. Is that clear? Now we are moving to Article 4. Article 4. See, while teaching salient feature of Constitution, I have told about the nature of Indian Constitution. Is it rigid or is it flexible? Is it rigid or flexible? Mixed. It is combination of both. Indian Constitution is combination of both rigidity as well as flexibility. Can you explain it? How it is combination of both rigidity as well as flexibility? That's not the reason. Anyone else? No, fundamental right can be amended, and it has been amended by the parliament. Yeah, basic structure is true. But what is the reason behind Indian Constitution being a combination of both rigidity as well as flexibility? See, I have explained in that class. I am going to explain it again. Draw this diagram. Amendment of Constitution in India can be done under which article? 368. ठीक है? And without 368. You can draw this diagram again, and I know you will forget after some time because you guys are not revising that you are supposed to do. You are supposed to do multiple revisions, otherwise you won't be able to recall in the class or even in the exam. Clear? So Indian Constitution can be amended in these two ways, but further Article 368 there are two ways. Under Article 638 There are two ways to amend the constitution. First one is with the special majority. With the special majority means two-third majority. And second one is special majority plus consent of half of the states. Consent of half of the states. Is that clear? And without 368, some part of the constitution can be amendment without considering article 368, and that is with simple majority. With simple majority. So Indian constitution can be amended into in three ways. Two ways are given under article 368 and one is given outside article 368. Clear? And any amendment under article 368 is very difficult. That's why it is rigid. Clear na? A special majority is not that easy. Means two-third majority. And a special majority with consent of half states is almost difficult. That's why Indian constitution is called rigid. But there are few provisions that are outside article 368. It can be amended with simple majority. Means this talks about flexibility. Simple majority is easy na? Clear? That's why Indian constitution is called as a synthesis of both rigidity as well as flexibility. So write down a question again. Indian constitution is both is synthesis of both rigidity as well as flexibility. Rigidity as well as flexibility. Clear? Now come to article 4 again. See, that's why revision is very important, because I had explained this concept of rigidity and flexibility in the class. But now I have to explain it again. Article 4 declares that any law made under Article 2 and Article 3. Any law made under Article 2 and Article 3 will not be considered under Article 368. Clear? Any law made under Article 2 and Article 3 will not be considered under Article 368. What does it means? It means law made under Article 2 or 3 can be by special majority or with simple majority. With simple majority, na? Because any law made under Article 2 and 3 will not be considered within Article 368. Means it will be outside Article 368. Article 2 and 3, it will be outside 368. Means it can be done with simple majority, na? because it is not under Article 368. Special majority is required only under Article 368, no? So any law made under Article 2 and 3 that is not under Article 368 means it can be done by simple majority. So what does it means? It means that any change, any admission or establishment of states as well as formation of new state can be done with the simple majority. Is that clear or any doubt? You can ask me again. I will explain. Any doubt? Now come to the next topic, and that is evolution of states and union territories. Evolution of states and union territories. Clear? See, I have told in the class under Independence Act 1947, princely states were given the option. What kind of option? To join India or to join Pakistan or to remain independent. Clear? What are the three options that has been given to princely states under Independence Act 1947? Either to join India, clear, or to join Pakistan, or to remain independent. Means all the princely states were given three options, no? Under Independence Act 1947. Either join India or join Pakistan or remain independent. Clear? And at that time there were five to princely states in India at the time of independence. Clear? And out of these five to princely states, 9 princely states joined India. Out of these 2. Only 3 states were left, and that states were Hyderabad, Junagadh, and third one is Kashmir. Clear? These 3 states were left. Means they did not join either India or Pakistan and wanted to remain independent. Clear? These 3 states, Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir. See, in case of Hyderabad, Hyderabad was ruled by Nizams, and troopers of Nizam were called as Razakar. Troopers of Nizam were called as Razakar. Hyderabad at that time was ruled by the Nizam, and troopers of Nizam were called as Razakar. Troopers means army of Nizam. See, Hyderabad wanted to be an independent state, independent country, and for any country to survive, they also need some coastal area. So Hyderabad was also trying to capture few coastal areas of India. Also, at the same time, Razakars were also oppressing the people of Hyderabad. So Sardar Patel at that time took police action by launching an operation and integrated the Hyderabad into India through the police action. Clear? So Hyderabad was integrated in India by the police action. Is that clear? Now come to the second state, that is Junagadh. See, Junagadh was ruled by a ruled by Muslim, Muslim ruler, and majority population was Hindu. Clear? So the ruler of Junagadh wanted to go with Pakistan. He was inclined to join Pakistan, ruler of Junagadh, because he was a Muslim, but the majority population in Junagadh was Hindu, so it was against their sentiment. Clear? So Sardar Patel decided to intervene in this matter. Clear? And the ruler of Junagadh went to Pakistan when Sardar Patel intervened. Fear of being captured, he decided to went to Pakistan. And after that, a referendum was conducted. A referendum was conducted to decide about the fate of Junagadh. And in this referendum, people of Junagadh decided to go with the India. Clear? Means Junagadh was integrated in India through the referendum. Clear? And Kashmir was integrated, oh sorry, Hyderabad was integrated through police action. Now come to the third state. And third state is Kashmir. See, the Raja of Kashmir at that time was Hari Singh. Hari Singh was a Hindu. Clear? And majority population of Kashmir was Muslim. Clear? So Raja Hari Singh decided to remain independent. He was not in neither in favor of joining India or Pakistan, so he decided to remain independent. But at the same time, Pakistan wanted to acquire the Kashmir because of its majority population of Muslim. So they sent few infiltrators in Kashmir, जो आज तक वो लोग करते आ रहे हैं अभी भी. And that is one of the reason that's why India and Pakistan cannot exist peacefully. So you can see through the history that how the history will affect your present and future. That's why a sound knowledge of history is also required. You cannot blame that history is boring, so I won't read it. Many candidates found it boring, na? It is boring for me also, but to have a good understanding, you have to study it. Because most of your answers would be treated as incomplete if you are not going into historical aspects. So history is also about polity. See, for example, if you want to read about the causes of revolt of 1857, so you will have to know about what are the political causes, what are the economic causes, what are the social causes, what are the administrative causes. So all these subjects are interlinked, and you must have the ability to interlink all these subjects if you really want to score a decent score in UPSC or any exam. And how this will come in your mind? By multiple revision and answer writing practice. Only learning is not enough to write. You have to practice it, isn't it? Without practice, you won't be able to write a good answer. You will commit many mistakes once you will start answer writing. But those mistakes can be minimized with the practice. So if you think that you have enough knowledge, then start answer writing. But if you are a newcomer, then you should not start it because you won't be able to write multiple dimension in that question. So you won't be able to justice with the question. So first finish at least few parts of the syllabus, then start your answer writing. Until then, you don't have to relax. कि अच्छा सर ने तो बोला था आंसर राइटिंग अभी नहीं करना है because I am a beginner. You can make your own short notes of my notes which I am dictating in the class. That will help you to revise it multiple times. You cannot go with these bulky books at the time of exam, no? You cannot revise entire Lakshmikant again and again. It is too bulky and it will take more times to revise it. So while reading, try to make such kind of diagrams or make your own short notes. That will be really helpful for you to revise either before prelims or before mains or even interview. With these kind of short notes, you can revise it before your interview also. Clear? So if you are not able to write answer, then at least try to write the short notes, make short notes of these points in such kind of diagrams or in which diagram you want. Clear? So when Pakistan sent infiltrators in India, sorry in Kashmir, ruler of Kashmir Raja Hari Singh, he asked for the help from India. But at that time Kashmir was a separate country and Pakistan was a separate country. So India could not intervene militarily. So Indian government asked the Kashmiri rulers to sign an instrument of accession and join the Indian Union. So Raja Hari Singh signed that instrument of accession. Then India sent its military to help the people of Kashmir and to save the Kashmiri from infiltrators of Pakistan. So Kashmir was integrated in India through the instrument of accession. Clear? Clear about all these three states? How they are integrated into Indian Union? Now, how many of you are aware about the UPSC syllabus? How many papers are there for GS mains? 4 papers, na? GS 1, 2, 3. Clear. See, there is a topic in the GS paper 1 named Indian Society. Clear? And in Indian society, there is a topic called regionalism. I am not going to elaborate it in detail. I am just giving you the reference how interlinking is very important. Whether you are reading history, polity, society, economy, or geography, you must be aware about the interlinking aspect. So, in GS paper 1, there is a topic named Indian society, and in Indian society, there is a topic called regionalism. See, one of the reason behind regionalism is language, isn't it? When you prefer your own language over the other's language, that becomes a cause of regionalism. On the basis of that language, you are demanding a separate state or a separate country. That is regionalism. Clear? There are many states, not Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is not demanding a separate state. No, no, that is not any official demand made by chief minister or any big personality. MP and MLA always give such kind of statement. ठीक है? कि we want independent state, go to Pakistan. ठीक है? These peoples are not good. No, that is not a big issue until and unless it is not being demanded by the peoples of the state. Usually, these are political statements to garner the vote of the innocent people. Okay. So, language is one of the reason of the regionalism. So, this language is not a current issue. Okay. When you will study about the regionalism, you will see that it was a issue in India pre-independence when the Congress announced that they will form separate state on the basis of language, and their working committees at the provincial level were on the basis of states, but these provisions were not fulfilled. So post independence, again people demanded the creation of state on the basis of the language. So when people post independence people demanded creation of state on the basis of language, government appointed few committees to look into the picture, and the first committee was SK Dhar committee. SK Dhar committee was appointed to look into the reorganization of state on the basis of language. Clear? But SK Dhar committee rejected this idea. So there was resentment among the people. So Government of India again appointed a committee named as JVP Committee. JVP Committee. What is the meaning of JVP Committee? There were 3 members: Jawaharlal Nehru, clear, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. These were 3 members of JVP Committee. Clear? Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So this committee also formally rejected the concept of language as basis of recognition of state. At that time, there was a Congress person named as Potti Sriramalu. Potti Sriramalu. He was on hunger strike. He was on hunger strike. For what? For creation of Andhra. For creation of Andhra Pradesh, he was on hunger strike. And unfortunately, after 56 days of hunger strike, he died. After 56 days of hunger strike, he died. So his protesters become violent and started to damage the government properties. Situation was out of control at that time due to the death of Potti Sriramalu. Clear? So government created Andhra Pradesh as the first state on the basis of language. So Andhra Pradesh was the first state which was created on the basis of language. Clear? And this creation of Andhra Pradesh triggered the demand in other parts of country. Many peoples also demanded creation of states on the basis of language due to this creation of Andhra Pradesh. Clear? Because Andhra was the first state that was created on the basis of language. So in many other parts of the country, people demanded creation of more states on the basis of language. So government appointed a new committee to look into these matters, that is Fazal Ali Committee. Fazal Ali Commission. Clear? See, the Fazal Ali Commission considered language as basis of creation of state. He considered this language as basis of creation of state. But he rejected, the commission rejected what? One language, one state. One language, one state concept. Clear? This Fazal Ali Commission has considered the language as the basis of the state. But they rejected the concept of one language, one state. See how mature they were at that time. Because they were aware that there are elements in India who will go against this concept. Because India is a diverse country. So if we will start giving one language, one state, then there will be multiple states and that will be a danger to the unity and integrity of India. Clear? Everyone, there are many languages in this country, na? So there might be hundreds of states. So that would be difficult to maintain the unity and integrity of India. So they considered the language as the formation of the state, but they rejected the theory of one language and one state. Is that clear? See, after that, there were many states which has been created. So there is nothing to explain in those. You can refer to the Lakshmikant or the booklet, okay, and read it. When and how other states were recognized. Clear? And one more concept I wanted to explain in this class, which I missed, is that what else comes under Article 368 regarding to the territory of India. ठीक है, तो try to understand it. See, there are two things. Number one is cession of territory to foreign country, and another is settlement of boundary dispute. Settlement of boundary dispute. Now understand this. See, to cede any territory to any foreign country, that will require an amendment under Article 368. This one. If India want to cede any of its part to any foreign country, suppose India wants to give Tamil Nadu to Sri Lanka, then that can be done only under Article 368. There must be a constitutional amendment. For example, there is a constitutional amendment for India-Bangladesh land swap agreement. See, the concept I am going to explain is what is article under Article 368. See, before 2015, suppose it was India and it is Bangladesh. So there were few territories of Bangladesh encircled by the India within Indian territory like this, and few Indian territories were in Bangladesh like this, which was encircled by Bangladesh, and these territories were called as enclave. Are you getting my point now? Few territories of Bangladesh were in Indian continent encircled by the Indian territory, and few territories of India were within Bangladesh territory. Now suppose if any citizen of India want to move to any part of India, they also required passport and visa. See how difficult it was for them. Suppose there some fundamental rights has been violated by an Indian and they wanted to go to the Supreme Court. So for that they are required to have passport and visa. Wasn't it difficult at that time? So India and Bangladesh decided to swap these boundaries, these land, means those territories of Bangladesh which were within Indian territory will be now under India, and those Indian territory which were within Bangladesh will be under Bangladesh. So here India is giving some of its territory to Bangladesh. Clear? So amendment under Article 368 is required. Why? Because India is giving some of its territory to another foreign country. Clear? You got my point na, regarding this concept? Why it was done under Article 368? Because India has given few of its territory to a foreign country, and for that an amendment under Article 368 is required. Clear? Now come to the second point. Settlement of boundary dispute. Supreme Court in 1969 Supreme Court ruled that settlement of boundary dispute is outside Article 368. Outside Article 368. And it can be done done by executive action. What does it means? Suppose, see, this is India-Pakistan border. This is Pakistan and this is India, that is Gujarat. There is a dispute between India-Pakistan called as Sir Creek. It is still not decided whether this territory is with India or Pakistan. Both the countries are claiming that this is their own territory. India is saying that Sir Creek is our territory and Pakistan is saying that Sir Creek is our territory. Yes, in Gujarat. Gujarat and Pakistan border. Clear? So both the countries are fighting, having dispute over this territory. Now suppose government came with any kind of settlement. Whether government will give this territory to Pakistan, so it can be done under without Article 368. Why? Because it is not part of Indian territory. Abhi it is not decided na कि Sir Creek is within Pakistan or within India. There is a dispute. So any dispute settlement will be done by the executive action that is ruled by the Supreme Court in 1969. This dispute settlement can be done by the executive action. For this, amendment under Article 368 is not required. Clear na? You got my point in those cases. If government of India want to cede any territory to any foreign country, for example, in that case of India-Bangladesh land swap agreement, government has given some territory to Bangladesh. So for that there was a constitutional amendment, 100th constitutional amendment, I think so. Okay, it is 100th constitutional amendment. But in case of boundary dispute settlement of boundaries like Sir Creek, if government of India, suppose government of India decided to give this portion to Pakistan entirely, for that this can be done only by the executive action. Why? Because as of now it is not decided na ki whether it is part of India or not. So India is not ceding any of its territory to any foreign country. अभी decided ही नहीं है कि वो किसका है. So this was ruled by Supreme Court in 1969. Clear? Now I am going to dictate you few important points. ठीक है? Yes. India considered it as its own territory, na? No. If India considered it at its own territory and it is within the political boundary of India, then it is not disputed. Dispute means it is not decided whether it is the part of India or not. For example, there is also an island in West Bay of Bengal, New Mure Island, that is disputed because it is not decided. अब suppose if someone claims that कि Tamil Nadu is in Sri Lanka, so that doesn't mean ना कि it will not require any kind of amendment. But Sir Creek since independence has not been decided, and that's the reason because it is a wetland and it change its shape always. ठीक है? Now write down. Have you made all these diagrams in your notes? Now write down. Article 1 deals with name and territory of the Union. Article 1 deals with names and territory of the Union. Write down the first point. India, that is Bharat, shall be Union of States. India, that is Bharat, shall be union of states. Second, the states and territories, the state and territories shall be as specified in first schedule. The state and territories shall be as specified in first schedule. Next point, the territory of India shall comprise shall comprise, first, the territories of the states, the territories of the states. Second, the union territories specified in first schedule, the union territories specified in first schedule. And third, other territories as may be required in future. Other territories as may be acquired in future. Other territories as may be acquired in future. Write down from next para. Why India is considered as union? Why India is considered as union? Despite having despite having despite having federal features in its constitution. Despite having federal features in its constitution. Write down. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar replied that first first Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement. Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement among the states like American Federation. Among the states like American Federation. Second, Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement among the states like the American Federation. Among the states like the American Federation. Second point, in India, states have no right in India, states have no right to cede from the federation. To cede from the federation. The federation is an union because it is indestructible. It is indestructible. Next, come to Article 2. Write down. Article 2 grants two power to the Parliament. Article 2 grants two power to the Parliament. First, the power to admit into the Union of India, the power to permit into the Union of India new states, the power to admit into Union of India new states. Second, the power to establish new states. Second, the power to establish new states. Clear? Means first part write down. First refer to the first means first part which I told, the power of the parliament. Now you can write within the bracket in front of that, the power to admit new state to the Union of India means the admission of states which are already in existence. Write down, admission of states which are already in existence. Which are already in existence. Clear? And second part means establishment of new states that are not in existence before. Establishment of states that were not in existence before. Clear? And Article 2 deals with the admission or establishment of the new states. Article 2 deals with the admission or establishment of new states that are not part of the Union of India. That are not part of the Union of India. Clear? Now come to Article 3. For admission of new states means those states already existed. Means Jammu Kashmir. Jammu Kashmir was already existed as a separate state, no? Government of India through instrument of accession integrated it into Union of India. Now, what foreign? So, if it is not part of India, that means it is a foreign state. Article 2 deals with those parts which are not the part of India. And if it is already part of India, that would be dealt with the Article 3. Now come to Article 3. Article 3. See, Article 3 gave the 5 powers. So write down, Parliament may by law first form a new state by separation of territory from any state or by uniting two or more states or parts of states or by uniting any territory to a part of any state Clear? Second is increase the area of any state. Third, diminish the area of any state. Fourth, alter the boundaries of any state. Fifth, alter the name of any state. alter the name of any state. And write down Article 3 deals with those states. Article 3 deals with those states which are existing states of the Union of India. Deals with those states which are existing states of the Union of India. From next para. However, Article 3 lays down two conditions in this regard. However, Article 3 lays down two conditions for aforementioned changes. Article 3 laid down two conditions for aforementioned changes. First, a bill for above changes can be introduced. A bill for above changes can be introduced in the Parliament. Above changes can be introduced in the Parliament only with the prior recommendation. Only with the prior recommendation of the President. Of the President. And second point is before recommending the bill. Before recommending the bill, the President has to refer the bill to the concerned state legislature. To the concerned state legislature. To the concerned state legislature for expressing its views within a specified time. For expressing its views within a specified time. Right from next para. The President is not bound by the views of the President is not bound by the views of the state legislature. Views of the state legislature and may either accept or reject them. And may either accept or reject them. Further, it is not necessary. It is not necessary to make a fresh reference to the state. To make a fresh reference to the state every time an amendment is made to the bill. Every time an amendment is made to the bill. Every time an amendment is made to the bill. Amendment is made to the bill. Also in case of Union territories. Also in case of Union territories, no reference need to be made. No reference. Also in case of Union territories, no reference need to be made to the concerned legislature. To the concerned legislature to express its views. To the concerned legislature to express its views. and the parliament can itself and the parliament can itself take any action. Take any action. Now come to Article 4. Write down. Article 4 declares that Article 4 declares that laws made under Article 2 and Article 3 laws made under Article 2 and Article 3 are not to be considered as amendments of the Constitution are not to be considered as amendment of the Constitution under Article 368 are not to be considered as amendment of the Constitution under Article 368. This means such laws such laws can be passed by a simple majority. Such laws can be passed by a simple majority and by the ordinary legislative process. And by the ordinary legislative process. Ordinary legislative process. Write down from next para. Indian territory can be ceded to a foreign state. Indian territory can be ceded to a foreign state only by amending the constitution. Only by amending the constitution. Only by amending the constitution under Article 368. Under Article 368. However, Supreme Court ruled in 1969. Supreme Court ruled in 1969 that settlement of a boundary dispute. Supreme Court ruled in 1969 that settlement of a boundary dispute between India and another country does not require a constitutional amendment. Does not require a constitutional amendment. It can be done by executive action. It can be done by executive action as it does not involve cession of Indian territory to a foreign country. Right, next heading, evolution of states and union territories. Next heading is evolution of states and union territory. Write down. Integration of princely states. Integration of princely states. Indian Independence Act 1947. Indian Independence Act 1947 gave three options to princely states. Gave three options to princely states. First, either join India. Second, or join Pakistan. Third, or remain independent. Either join India or join Pakistan or remain independent. At that time, next para, at that time, 552 princely states situated 552 princely states situated within geographical boundary of India. Within geographical boundary of India. 549 princely states joined India. 549 princely states joined India and three states Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir. Three states Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir refused to join India. Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir refused to join India. Next para. From next para, right? However, in course of time, Hyderabad was integrated through police action. Hyderabad was integrated through police action. Junagadh was integrated through referendum. Junagadh was integrated through referendum. Kashmir was integrated through instrument of accession. Kashmir was integrated through instrument of accession. Right, next heading. Reorganization of states post independence. Reorganization of states post independence. Kashmir was integrated through instrument of accession. Right, next topic. Reorganization of states. Reorganization of states after independence. After independence. Write down. After independence. After independence, there were demands from different regions. After independence, there were demands from different regions, particularly South India, for reorganization of states, for reorganization of states on linguistic basis, on linguistic basis. So, Government of India appointed SK Dhar Committee. Jvp Committee to examine the issue of reorganization of states, on linguistic basis. On linguistic basis. This committee recommended the reorganization of states. This committee recommended the reorganization of states on the basis of administrative convenience. On the basis of administrative convenience rather than linguistic factor. Rather than linguistic factor. Next para. This created much resentment. This created much resentment and led to appointment of another committee. This created much resentment and led to appointment of another committee. Jvp Committee. Jvp Committee consisted of Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. This committee formally rejected language. This committee formally rejected language as the basis of formally rejected language as the basis for reorganization of states. Basis for reorganization of states. Next para. However, the death of Potti Shriramulu after a 56-day hunger strike for the cause of creation of separate Andhra separate Andhra state on linguistic basis force the government to create the first linguistic state known as Andhra state. Next para. The creation of Andhra state intensified triggered the demand for creation of states on linguistic basis from other parts of the country. This forced the government to appoint Fazal Ali Commission, to appoint Fazal Ali Commission to re-examine, to re-examine reorganization of state on linguistic basis, to re-examine the issue of reorganization of states on linguistic basis. Fazal Ali's report accepted language. Fazal Ali's report accepted language as the basis of reorganization of states, as the basis of Fazal Ali's report accepted the language, accepted the language as the basis of reorganization of states, but rejected the concept of one language, one state, but rejected the concept of one language, one state. Because it considered that, because it considered that the unity of India should be, the unity of India should be the prime factor in any reorganization of the states. Unity of India should be a prime factor in any reorganization of the states. Clear? So that's all for today's class, and tomorrow we will be studying about the citizenship, that is in part 2 and from article 5 to 11. Clear? Any doubt?